welcome to Phil and Ted's Sexy Boomer Show. I'm Ted Bonnet.
And I'm Phil, Proctor, Phil.
Yes.
I forget. But anyway. Well, we have two very interesting guests today who are, in fact, two as one. Another married couple. We're very happy to have two very creative people who are still together after 30 years, 31, 32 years, something like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well,
30,
we're going to
32,
ask
33.
you the secret to your success in a long-term relationship as part of our wide-ranging discussion today.
It is Melissa Rosenberg and Lev Spiro. Melissa is a writer, screenwriter, showrunner, and Lev is a director, radio host,
Yes,
and fine arts photographer. Melissa, you are doing some very interesting work right now as a screenwriter. You're working on Hillary Clinton's co-authored novel.
Yes.
State of Terror.
State of Terror.
Which I happen to be reading.
It's a very fun read. It's a terrific read. The Secretary and Louise Penny co-authored a suspense thriller. And it was just such a fun read. And, of course, when my agent called asking whether or not I was interested in adapting, he told me who wrote it. And I said, okay, you had me at Hillary.
Yeah, right.
As long as I get to meet her. That I was in.
That was your stipulation, right?
Stipulation.
Yeah, she's a nice person.
Very. And incredibly smart. Very intimidating.
That's very clear. She's brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And it's a great book. I'm only 100 pages in, but I'm enjoying it. And because she's obviously, I know you can't really get into what you're doing, so we won't ask. But if you look at the book, she's having a good time writing a post-Trump presidency take.
Oh, yeah. She takes her pot shots, and it's just hilarious.
This alter ego, I suppose, is the Secretary of State, a woman named Ellen, I believe. And they're dealing with terrorism, but they're also dealing with the debris field left by this previous administration that was full of loyalists and hacks and demoted America's stature to a point where there's some bad stuff going on.
Yeah, she made all that up.
It's fiction. Well,
it's a docudrama.
It's fictionalized. In the book, the previous president was not orange, so you don't know who she's talking about necessarily.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, no, they're doing a little hands off on that. But you are perhaps known for creating and show running the TV series Marvel's Jessica Jones.
I am.
Wow, and you got a Peabody for that as well.
I did.
Why did Peabody award you for that? What do you?
Well, as it turned out, it ended up being sort of a feminist perspective on domestic violence and sexual assault, and that was not my intention going in.
Mm-hmm. But another Trump story. Sorry.
It's okay.
And I just recently said, boy, there's just nothing funny about sexual assault. Well, there you go.
Leave it to Phil.
There you go.
It's called Slapstick. Slapstick, actually.
Tell us about the show.
It was on Netflix. It was Netflix had a whole series of Marvel's television series,
right.
And this was one of 4 of these characters, and it was just the highlight of my career to be able to write that show and to have it come out and actually be something that people talked about in terms of those issues. That's again, you never go in thinking you're going to step on a soapbox and do this stuff, but as it turned out, it coincided very neatly with the whole Me Too movement. So
So working for Netflix, I mean, that was a whole new paradigm.
That's time
in Hollywood. This was what years?
About 5 years ago. Honestly,
5 years ago. Okay,
something like that. Maybe 8. I don't know.
This is where the supremacy of the streamers had come into full swing, and it was peak TV.
Yes,
right. Which we're now post peak TV. Did your experience, given the traditional studio system that morphed into the streamer studio system, did you notice differences?
Yeah, it was a different feeling. And
how was
up top?
I had moved away from network television and into this cable or premium TV when I first went on to Dexter. That was my first experience.
Dexter is such an amazing series.
Michael C. Hall.
Oh, the brilliant Michael C. Hall. And so that was my first taste of, this is different
Yeah.
than network. I mean, a story is a story is a story. So you're still telling a tale.
That's right.
But you're telling it with more time to think about it, more time to create it. You're with fewer boundaries on the edges, and it's just a great.
Oh yeah, so you're not dealing with broadcast standards. You're not dealing with spot breaks and having to build framework to accommodate commercials.
Yeah, well, when you're doing network TV, you have to account not only for the breaks for ads, but when you come back from the ads, you have to again remind the audience what they just saw 2 minutes ago. So
Right.
you spend half of your storytelling reminding people what they just saw before.
That's why maybe Netflix and the streamers always felt like every episode of the big series were almost like features.
Yes, very much so. Yeah,
Because they did. Sure.
Hey, it's really it's basically taken over the independent film arena. The independent films are now a lot of the features that you see streaming because it reaches a wider audience.
Yeah, I mean, how do you? I mean, Lev, you did.
I'm agreeing with her. I'm sitting here nodding sagely. That doesn't really play on radio.
But you've
does
only
it?
done like 160 TV episodes and
Yeah.
pilots. So
Yeah. The biggest change for me was not having to serve the act breaks, because every act break you've got to come out on some point of tension,
Right.
so the audience wants to come back.
Right.
So and hopefully it was in the script. Sometimes it's not in the script, so you're trying to build it with
creative.
camera work and music, and
Right.
So that was a great relief to just be able to make a 1 hour film instead of a 17 acts, whatever.
So it was like you did an episode of Orange is the New Black.
Yes.
Was that an hour?
It was an hour.
It was an hour.
More or less.
But you did, right. So you had really, in a sense, creative freedom because you weren't confined by the boundaries of the structure
Yeah, that
of
was a pretty-
commercial advertising. How did you find working for those companies in terms of, was it like the old studio or the old network situation as far as the suits getting involved in the stories?
Yeah, I mean, the first year of Jessica, the suits were very, very much involved. But then we won a Peabody, and that was
Hands off.
funny how that works.
Did you have, we all know about how they have these remarkable algorithmic research. They know everything. Everyone's doing it every moment. Did they come back to you and say, gee, about 15 minutes in, everybody went and got a cup of coffee?
It hadn't quite kicked in at that time of Jessica, but since then, as I've been creating other works, it has become a bigger. There's more of the goal being, well, we're going after this audience or that audience.
Yeah.
But actually, the most frightening thing was in casting. When we're like taking projects to actors to attach them, they now handed me the casting sheet of each actress. This role happened to be for an actress. The representatives, some of their credits, and then how many followers they have.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah,
so
well, they used to
you're-
have TVQ in the old days.
Yeah,
there you go.
that's
But,
right. The Q.
Your
factor.
Q, right.
I'd never seen it before until recently, and now it's
Wow.
like, well, this actress, she may be better, but look at this one. She's got 1 million followers. I was like, well, this is such
how
the wrong way to
interesting.
cast.
Wow.
But, it's funny when you talk about creative freedom, there is no such thing as absolute creative freedom. It's a myth, because
Right.
you're always beholden to someone. You're always, even at Melissa's level, she's a showrunner. She still has to take notes from the studio, from the producing pod, whoever it is, from the network.
Sure.
For me, doing episodic, I'm not there to do a Lev Spiro film. I'm there to make a Melissa Rosenberg story. If I'm doing Dexter or something like that, which I
Right.
never got to do because we wanted to stay married to each other.
There's the secret, folks.
So, but when I'm doing pilots and features, I've done quite a few of each of those, and then I'm really a filmmaker and I'm helping create that universe. But as an episodic director, you're trying to bring what you can to the table, but it's your job to, I'm making a Mitch Hurwitz film for Arrested Development. Or
Yeah,
Steve
well,
Levitan film.
I was cast in some projects, and Lev directed me. What was the first thing that we did together?
It was Arrested Development.
Arrested Development.
Yeah.
And remember
You were part of the Church and State Fair. As
Yeah, I
remember,
know,
yeah.
such a funny premise, and I had a camel to work with.
Yes, there was
a
because there was a
camel
young
toe
lady.
joke. Yes,
yes, she was doing she was singing "We Three Kings" with a camel toe.
Yes.
Which involved pulling the camel.
Pulling the
camels.
camel.
Which-
Camels are
the
miserable creatures.
Oh, I can't say.
Couldn't get the camel up the ramp.
I could not get it into the tent. And I spent 45 minutes with the animal trainer saying, no, just be patient. And my day is slipping away.
Yeah, right.
12 hours to do 12 pages.
We're waiting
and
for the camel.
I called Hurwitz and said, I'm dying here. Can I make a joke out of the fact that I can't get the camel in the tent? She's like, yeah, do what you need to do.
Good.
So then I had David Cross just record a thing where he's urging them to pull the camel on stage. I couldn't use any of that because it ended up being a stream of masturbation jokes.
Oh, gosh.
Just pull on it till it comes. I won't go.
Really?
I was just dying of laughter, but I couldn't use any of it.
And, of course, the terrible thing was that right after that, I did that show, the writer decided to stop writing it. Remember? That was the last show in the series. He said, I don't want to do it anymore. You don't remember that? I've closed a lot of shows.
Yeah,
let me tell you.
Yeah,
the Jinx.
I told them when I cast you in that, I said Phil's a closer.
Yeah. And the other funny thing about that was I didn't have a script, and I thought it was going to be all improvised.
Yeah.
And then I walked in and
memorize these.
I had to memorize everything in like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
you know?
well, 2-page monologue. Come on.
Yeah.
No.
So now you did something for Netflix as well for the Waltons Homecoming. Wasn't that a Netflix deal?
Was that on Netflix? No,
Doesn't sound right.
It was. That was.
Oh,
on
I'm sorry.
The CW.
God, I've got to fire this writer. I put this.
I think that's your handwriting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I meant you did Insatiable and Orange is the New Black.
I did, yes.
The Waltons was probably
The CW.
The CW.
That was the highest rated thing on the CW that year. I got a lovely award from the Christopher Awards, which was like
it's
the biggest Christian family film association.
Christopher?
It's called the Christopher Award. And I was afraid they were going to send me like a giant gold crucifix. You know, my dad broke a chain of 16 generations of rabbis by becoming a psychiatrist. So I was like, I hope it's not a giant crucifix. They sent me a very tasteful statue of St. Christopher carrying baby Jesus across the river.
Oh, very nice.
So it's on my shelf.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
That shelf must be groaning with trophies by now.
Yes.
Yeah, you have multiple Peabodys between you. I mean, you also got a Peabody for
Dexter.
For Dexter. Now, why did Dexter? I'm a serial killer. How did he get a Peabody?
Yeah, honey, defend that.
Easily. Dexter at its core is about a man searching for his humanity. And that's very highbrow.
Wow.
But he's trying to figure out what it is to be human. He's like an alien dropped down, and that's the gist of it.
You did another alien-oriented series early on, didn't you? Wasn't it?
Dark Skies.
Oh, yes.
Dark Skies, yeah.
That was a good one.
You've gone deep into the files.
Well,
so.
I watched some of these things, and oh my gosh, I know her. You know, that's the fun of it. Often, you know.
And you're into vampirism. With the
I
Twilight
am.
Saga.
I'm into writing about them in an event. Yeah, the Twilight Saga. That was a.
Is that what's your? Well, you seem to do
vampirism.
everything, but what's your favorite genre?
I think Jessica Jones really sums up everything that I love most. It's genre stuff. It's heightened, grounded in reality. So as opposed to like going and writing Game of Thrones, for instance, which is you're creating worlds.
Yeah.
This is taking genre into our own world, and Twilight is the same thing. And black humor and character driven. Those are my. That's where I live and breathe.
If I could offer some more marital advice, because we seem to be interested in
please.
that. Yeah. And when men come to me and say, they're having trouble making ends meet, I say, look, just do what I did. You marry a woman that writes an incredibly successful franchise of films, and then you're okay.
Yeah, that's a good
advice.
suggestion.
Good advice.
People don't listen to that.
Pretty
often.
easy to follow too.
Other people are asking about Marshall Blitz, wedded Blitz. How do you survive the fights?
Yeah.
But you guys probably only have creative fights. Like, no, he wouldn't do that.
We don't actually fight about stuff. No.
I imagine
we've made it a rule of the marriage not to work together.
Who does the dishes?
We take turns.
But mostly lately me, because Lev does all the cooking.
Yes,
that is true.
I have that same arrangement with my wife. He who cooks does not clean.
Yeah. Well, he who cooks sometimes cleans in my house, but the other person takes care of the dogs at night.
I have to take care of the dog too. Yeah.
Well, the old Amish expression, "Kiss and don't last, cook and do."
No, I never heard that one.
No, you didn't know. That's a very famous Amish expression about marriage. Kiss and don't last, cook and do.
Okay.
You're listening to
got it.
Ted
Now I
Sexy
got it.
Boomer Show. Write that one down. I'm Ted Bonnet. He's Phil Proctor. And our guests today are Melissa Rosenberg and Lev Spiro. A wonderful, can we call you a Hollywood power couple?
You can call us anything you want.
I mean,
Hollywood, but yeah.
I mean, you don't come off as power couple. You come off as
real people.
Real people.
How do you do that?
Yes. How do you do that and succeed in this town?
Sometimes you don't.
Yeah. So back to the business. Now we've had a pandemic and we've had a strike that was devastating. LA
writers' strike.
Yeah,
and
the writers'
actors'
strike. Now the IATSE strike.
IATSE.
IATSE. You say IATSE.
If you can say it.
IATSE.
Right.
And
let's call the whole thing off, please. Let's get back to work.
It just, from people I know in the business trying to sell scripts right now to get TV or movies made.
Very hard.
It's very, very difficult. A friend of mine who has a bunch of novels who's been working for years to get, and great stuff, by the way, with Netflix, but, it's been rocky because it's post-peak TV. Netflix is, I doubt you could call them in an existential crisis, but life got real for them finally. And now we're finding, there's a lot, it's really going overseas. You're finding money all around the world
Projects
to fund
in
these
Italy,
things.
Bulgaria.
I mean, how scattered is it from your perspective as people who rely on that system?
Well,
Yeah, you
definitely feel it. There was definitely a lag has been still going on since the strike. We all sort of thought, we're going to jump back into work. And it's really taking the studios, the buyers, a long time to figure out what they are now, how they're going to make money, what their model is.
That's right. It's all in a cocked hat right now.
Well, there is no model, right? I mean,
there's the model's kind of gone to hell.
It's they call it the Wild West now.
Yeah.
Because everybody's trying to find their footing.
But I feel like I was telling Lev as we were driving over here, I'm getting the feeling that it's sort of picking up a little bit. And of course, the writers will have to come first so we can create the material that the actors and crews can shoot.
I have lots of friends on the crew side of things, and they're still hurting pretty bad.
Yeah.
So, but Melissa was saying, well, it's starting to pick up for writers, so hopefully that will trickle down.
Yeah, but I remember when the strike 20 years ago, because we were promoting, I had a business doing radio campaigns for feature film releases for all the major studios, and I remember
with Peter Bergman.
Yeah, with Peter Bergman, and we knew that the inevitable slowdown was going to come post-strike settlement, but we had to get going. But it came back.
Yeah.
It took maybe a year, maybe even a little more than a year and a half before things got back up to speed. But that's when people went to movies and we had a system, and the online environment had not completely fragmented things. And now you have, not only because of the internet, you have a decentralization of the industry too. I understand that one of the biggest facilities ever is being constructed in Austin now, a studio facility in Austin, Texas. And we all know how things have moved from New Orleans now to Atlanta.
Well, I can give you an example. I go to the Writers Guild screenings, and I saw The Young Woman in the Sea, which you will love, Melissa, because it's a true story of the first woman back in the early 20th century who swam the English Channel. And it's an amazing, empowering story. Well, the writer, who also is a producer, they had to shoot it in Bulgaria. Okay, so Bulgaria played England and France, and the Black Sea played the part of the English Channel. Okay, but it worked magnificently.
And Italy has a 30 to 40% rebate right now, so things are going to go over there, and there's overseas money, which helps. Now, Melissa, you wrote all 5 screenplays to the Twilight Saga, and that grossed more than $3 billion. Congratulations, worldwide.
Yeah, wow.
Thank you.
Good.
That's fantastic.
That's when you bought your dogs, right? Yeah.
So you're just getting, oh man, what must have been just, I'm sure there was pressure on you, but at the same time, pretty sweet, like 3N.
Well, when I first was approached about doing the book, adapting the first novel, I really had no idea what it was and what it meant to so many people. And I started to work on it and just popped into the internet to sort of see, all right, what is this fan base like? And I ran screaming. I was like, I'm not, plugged my ears and, just like, I don't want to know because knowing that was too much. But then, of course, after the first movie came in, and I was in Hall H when it aired, and all the 5,000 screaming fans.
That's a Comic-Con reference.
Yes.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, sorry.
right.
Wow, that was very inside.
Very inside.
Yep,
Hall
Comic-Con.
H. Yeah.
I'm here to translate.
Thank you.
And so then I really was panicked because I was like, oh my God, I changed the book. I altered stuff. They're going to tar and feather me here. And fortunately they didn't. But so then I knew about the fan base for the next 4. And yeah, it's a lot.
That's enlightening.
Now, do you see those kind of opportunities given the landscape of the industry now? Do you see the potential for people to have that kind of a run like that?
Sure.
Yeah?
I'm
Or is it in
I'm
the-
always chasing it. I'm a TV writer at heart. I love a continuing storyline. So
Yes.
for me, if you're putting all the effort into a 2-hour movie, like to then have it just end. Like hopefully you're invested enough in these characters that you can just keep going with them. So for me, it's about just great storytelling and
And it goes back to peak TV, where it's almost the equivalency to do that on a streamer now. To have like a hit show like Stranger Things or something like that.
Well, it goes back to your marriage, too, because you're having a continuing series. You like the long run. But
we do.
I was afraid you were going to say something about vampires or the undead. and that would have been
actually,
bad.
I want to ask you, Lev, you're doing something on the radio yourself now, aren't you?
I am. I'm doing a show that is about music for television and film. It's called The Soundtrack.
It's a lot of fun, folks. I
It's
listen
on,
to a couple.
it's on the last Wednesdays of each month on another station. I won't say the name. I don't want to be disloyal.
It's a commercial station, right?
No, it's not.
Oh,
it's also
okay. Well,
listener
then
supported.
I think you can say that, couldn't you?
Okay, it's called the SoCal Sound. It's 88.5.
Sure.
Yes.
Why not?
Maybe some of the same listeners support both stations. Who knows?
Lev, you got I'm not shilling for Peabody, though I got a Peabody too. So
I did
just
get
wish-
a Peabody, although I
you-
don't. I got it for directing several episodes of a show called Unreal.
Oh.
And it's funny because I know the gentleman who was running the Peabody Awards at the time was the chairman of my department in Austin, where I went to graduate school, Horace
No
Newcomb.
kidding. Oh, wow.
And I happened to sit down to dinner with him a couple of years later, and I told him about my Peabody, and he kind of rolled his eyes and said, yeah, there was a lot of discussion about whether directors should get Peabodys for episodic shows or not. I was like, so clearly there was some dissension, but I got one, darn it.
That's
All
all.
right.
That's all that matters.
I
Yes.
started with Roger Corman,
Oh,
who was
yeah.
considered the king of B-movies.
Yeah.
Yes, he
in the
was.
day, yeah, who just recently passed.
Passed.
But,
I came out here looking
he
for
was
work
well
from New
respected.
York in the mid '70s and got a meeting with Roger. In Brentwood, I guess it was. He had his office, and he was the most. I was just a kid.
He's an erudite, soft-spoken,
Oh, my
intelligent
goodness.
guy. I was shocked. I was expecting Sammy
Yeah.
Glick,
Yeah.
cigar chomping.
He was lovely, even to a 19-year-old. He was in a white suit in a white office. It was so modern.
Yeah.
And he gave me a half an hour, and at the end said, "Cool, you want to come out? I'll give you an editing job."
Nice.
Yeah.
I did my first movie for Roger. And he did, I had you go and sit in his office. He talks to all new directors and explains how you need to have either sex or violence every 10 minutes in the film. But I will tell you that the first film that I directed was a comedy, and he liked it so much that he asked me to take the nudity out of the film.
Oh, for
He
heaven's
told me,
sake.
I'm going to brag on the radio. He said I was the first director he had asked to do that since Jonathan Demme.
Oh, my
That
gosh.
was my badge of honor from the
What was the
filming
movie
days.
called?
It was called Welcome to Planet Earth. It stars
Oh, yeah.
George Wendt and
Yes,
Shanna Reed.
I love that movie.
It's a wonderful film, especially if you have a beer or two.
Did that start? Did it work for you like it worked for so many? Did it start? your career?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What happened? You just were able to knock on doors after that?
No. Well, what happened was I had done this film, and I was with an agency at the time. They had yet to get me any work. And I was riding up the elevator with a box of half-inch stubs. Remember those things called VHS tapes, right?
Yeah,
and there was a woman in the elevator who said, "Oh, welcome to Planet Earth. Did you work on that?" I said, "Well, I directed it." And she said, "You're Lev? You're a comedy genius. Would you like to do television?" And I said, "Why, yes, I would." And that's how I started.
Wow.
Well, they say the business has its ups and downs.
Yeah,
So,
and
right?
in an elevator, very good.
Let's get into Beverly Hills Chihuahua 3.
I think we should. Yeah.
What was that? Now, you get a job saying,
It is-
"Hey, Lev, can you do Beverly Hills Chihuahua 3? Not
I-
2.
Well, they did. They said, yeah, okay. The truth is, they sent me this script, and I was not very enamored of it. And my agents ganged up on me and said, "You should do this." I said, "Have you read the script? Why?" And they said, "Because it's for big Disney. It's a DVD release, but you're working with all the feature side people." not just the, I had done Disney Channel films. So I did it, and I'm very proud of it. Actually,
I think it's the best Chihuahua there is.
Well, it is certainly the finest of the Chihuahua films.
Was the script dog-eared, by the way?
It was heavily dog-eared. Yes, thank you.
That's a lot of ads. That's wonderful.
Were there a lot of treats on set?
There were a lot of treats.
Phil,
when Phil asked me to do the show, he called me up. He's like, Lev, and he sounded like Sammy Glick. He was like, I could hear the cigar. He's like, Lev, kid, you got a face made for radio. You got to come do this show. I'm like, I have to think about that, but here I am.
Well, when you say hit DVD film,
yes,
that was when DVDs were big.
Oh man,
actually,
big.
it was.
We all lived off of that.
When I was shooting the film, DVDs were like entering sharp decline. Mm-hmm. And when that film came out, it was the highest grossing DVD of the year, but it was a huge disappointment because the bottom had already dropped out. Netflix was already taken off, and people were streaming.
Now, were the dogs naked in that film? Or
yes.
Did you? Yeah, they were.
No, I insisted.
You covered them up? Good.
Yeah. No, I insisted.
You insisted they'd be naked?
I don't want everything to be very natural. I don't want any artifice.
Did the dog have its own room and a break?
The lead dogs had attitudes. Your joke. First of all, I have to tell you, I was shocked. The first time I had the dog on set, we're rehearsing.
Yeah.
It was very well. It was the lead dog, Pepe, I think or Poppy was the name, and we had put these little tape marks on the floor, and this dog walks through a door, looks down, stops on its mark. I was like,
wow!
Half the actors I worked with can't do that. Of course, he didn't say his lines that well, but
he played a hell of a piano. There was my favorite scene is a piano recital.
Her favorite scene I've ever directed was from the movie.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
What fun!
Freaking
try getting a camel to do that.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of the Saudi Arabian desert.
Yeah.
And I was a camel.
Yeah.
And I went up to the camel. And I fed it, and I fed it, and I fed it. And then it just looked at me and spit all over me.
Yeah.
That's how they say thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to share some of this fine food with you.
Yeah.
Like a baby bird. Mm-hmm. Right?
Try getting back on the bus.
Yeah, I did a show about Francis Scott Key, and I played his best friend, John Randolph of Virginia, who was a senator, very eccentric man. He appeared in the Senate with 2 Afghan hounds and a little black boy dressed in beautiful silks, because he had inherited slaves, and he freed them all at the point of his birth. He was definitely against slavery. But portraying this character down in the Baltimore studios of public television, they wanted the dogs to be affectionate to me, so they put meat all over me. Right? I had meat in my shoulders and meat in my pants, and it was the first time I ever had.
Well, actually, we tried it with a couple of guests, but it didn't go well. Yeah, our guest was a vegan. Who knew?
Yeah, the dogs ignored me completely.
I feel bad. That whole story we told you about meeting at a Halloween party, me dressed as L. Ron Hubbard, I had meat all over my clothes, and that's
you did.
Yeah.
Well, oddly enough, I have performed in a lot of L. Ron Hubbard's short stories, which is so much fun. He was a very prolific and entertaining writer in all genres.
I suddenly feel the urge to pay you $1,000 to become more enlightened.
Give it to the station.
Hey, listen, for all you feel about it, at least those tax dodge dollars went to some creativity.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can
go there.
No, let's not go there.
I'm just trying to
lighten this
half
subject,
full glass,
But now you've retired from directing.
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
I stopped doing episodes, which was the bulk of my work.
Gotcha.
I'm still reading scripts for features and pilots. And when I say reading scripts, I mean I'm not actually directing, but I'm considering directing.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
So if any of the wonderful people listening to the show have something you'd like directed or made, send me a brilliant, well-realized script.
Have you had to do any pitching recently? Because I understand that a lot of pitches are done on Zoom now, which really defeats the whole purpose of the chemistry of things, don't you think?
How do you adapt to that?
It's I've been doing a lot of that actually since the pandemic, and still even now. Everything has been happening on Zoom. I mean, the positive thing is that you can have the
the strip on the top
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
people's faces?
What do you call them when you?
Yeah.
You have this sort of teleprompter app that goes and rolls through your script.
Oh, I see.
And if you can manage to make it sound like you're actually conversational, that's great. But you also can have a slideshow going on, which in live and in person, I usually bring like a couple boards of photographs. But this is
better.
A deck.
Okay.
A deck.
Yeah, a deck.
Right.
So putting it together is a big pain in the ass. But I've gotten used to it.
You adapt to it, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, I've been doing networking events and stuff just in the work I'm doing, and it's all online now. And it's an adjustment. It's cool because people from all over the world are on the call, but that inorganic contact and delay just makes it just less than warm and cozy.
Yeah,
But
I
it
do
is-
miss the in-person, but it has its benefits.
You're both very established, but for people who are getting into it, this new world where it's all going, we've been talking about YouTube and how YouTube suddenly is taking 10% of all TV viewership, and the young people who grew up on YouTube, they're native to it. There's something I found out about called the YouTube New Wave movement, which the younger people are evolving out of the frenetic, fast, crash-cutting banality into what they consider less cuts, longer, traditional storytelling.
Right.
So they're embracing that, and it's all coming up that way. I mean,
That's good news.
yeah, and I suppose, obviously, at both of your stations, this is not something you really have to concern yourself. You're deeply rooted in the traditional business.
That's not that's something that appeals to me, but I think all of these things. At core, as I said before, story is story.
A story is a story is a story.
People are always going to want to be told stories.
Yeah, that's so
That's
true.
never going to go away.
Right.
And it
so
really was-
whatever
it
form
really-
it takes is
Well, this so-called
cool.
democratization of media. The entire industry is just completely changing.
The technology, the media is the message. Thank you, Marshall McLuhan.
But you still
It's
want
so
to tune
true.
in to see a well-crafted, highly produced program.
You were saying we're both part of the establishment, which sounds vaguely not worthy. But I mentor students about 3 or 4 a year, and I tell them the same thing when the subject of new technologies comes up and marketing platforms and this, that, and the other, is that the craft of directing really hasn't changed in the last 120 years. And converting words on the page into moving pictures and doing that in a compelling fashion is the same craft it has been. So, during my career, we went from shooting on film to shooting digital. It didn't really affect my work that much.
Yeah, it was the same with the Fireside Theater, making that transition.
Yeah.
Did you guys both start with a knowledge that you wanted to do what you ended up doing? Did you tell stories as a kid, and did you direct, see things visually?
I got the bug in college. I was a political science student.
Okay.
And communication arts, so I was doubly horrified when the last president, that guy, got elected.
I've heard of him.
And I have tried to, what I consider pro-social content, I try to put in progressive messages into my work where I can, which is tough on Disney Channel. And really, it's much more sophomoric than that. I try to insult the other side when I can.
Oh, very good.
And I consider that to be pro-social content. But I forgot the question.
Well, you answered it, so that's the important thing.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't.
You said in college you got the
in
the
college
bug.
because I took my first film course when I was 23, perhaps 22, and I realized, this combines all these things I love to do. It combines drama, psychology, photography, music.
Oh, wow.
And, gee, could I be a director? And I went off to Austin to film school and got training.
A great creative town. How about you, Melissa? How did you get the bug?
Well, as a kid, I definitely was into storytelling and but also dance. And so when I went to college, my undergraduate is in dance and theater. I had this fancy of becoming a choreographer, but quickly realized that I wasn't probably good enough to merit starving in New York for any period of time. So I came out to L.A., and that's where I discovered that film and television was written. That was an actual job.
it was written. Right.
I mean, now, of course, it's well known. People in Poughkeepssie understand what a showrunner does. I hope. But
How'd you get your first job?
Yeah, and showrunner is like a superhero job in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
It's an awesome job.
It's like to explain what a showrunner is by definition. It's really the creative force behind the show. The studios or the production companies look to the showrunner to deliver the goods.
Well, we're the constant in television because you're constant. You're doing 8, 10, 12, 13 episodes, and so there's got to be one person who's tracking all of that. You can't have. I guess people nowadays there'll be a single director who goes through them all, and obviously actors. But the primary in a series is that one creative voice, is that person who's really seeing every aspect of it. And it's an incredibly grueling job because you are in
so much detail. I'm sure
every frame, costumes, production, editing, music, and it's also an incredibly satisfying job because you're in every frame of it. So it's a really fulfilling and exhausting job. But I also, in terms of I think you mentioned how did I get in?
Yeah, how did you get started?
Well, so I went to an undergrad at Bennington and graduate school at USC at the Peter Stark program for producing. And they're both very small programs, but there were 4 women who had done both. So when I graduated, oddly, I reached out to one of the alumni, as you do as a graduate. You reach out to your fellow alumni. And who was Liz Glosser at Castle Rock. And I reached out to her and said, I'm a writer. I want to go in. She reads my script. She says, this is great. We can't make it, but I'm going to help you get an agent. She gets sidetracked. So she ends up sending it to another friend of hers. And she's like, this is great. I'm going to get you an agent. We're not going to make it. But she sends it to her various different agents. The agents then call, I said, great, okay, so she has 4 agents. They start calling me and saying, when can I get this script? When can I get it? I'm thinking, what did she say to them? My God, this is... And so one of them even wants to meet with me before they read the script. I'm like, great, let's do it. And I go into this meeting, and it's a small but very well-known agency. And they're sitting there. The owner of the agency comes in. He's pitching me on the agency, and they're going on and on. One of them says, "Yeah, we just made a great deal for your mother." And I'm like, "What? You guys are good because she's been dead for 10 years." Turns out they think that I am Joan Rivers' daughter.
Joan Rivers'
whose
daughter.
name is Melissa, or was at the time Melissa Rosenberg. I think she's Melissa Rivers now. So I got in via nepetism and being related to absolutely no one.
Fantastic. What a great story.
So
you became an it girl without being it. Fantastic. I always admire about showrunners and episodic directors too is how they keep watch these really beautifully crafted series on the streamers, and they're so unified. They're so similar. It's like you think the same director and writer did the whole series.
Like a super
and it's not. That's a real skill to come in there and conform.
That's the showrunner's
keep that
job.
In your head.
She's the creative force behind all the decisions that go into that show. And it's the director's job as they come on to fit themselves into that vision.
That as a showrunner, that is your one of your many tasks is to keep it cohesive.
Yeah, and have it. It needs a voice. Every show has an individual voice, and you have to make sure you're bringing it.
Well, we're out of time.
Wonderful. What fun.
Thank you.
Thank you so
much
much
for having me.
Such a pleasure to have you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good luck to you both.